name's Robyn Flynn. I'm a bookkeeper, and I just wanted to share with you today how I am tracking all of my meeting conversations in ClickUp. Now, if you're using ClickUp at the moment for your task management for your clients, you'll probably find this an easy add-in, and you'll find it really handy. If you're not using ClickUp to manage all of your clients' tasks, if you're maybe using Xbert or Karbon or Pixie, something like that, you might find that this is worthwhile to just run alongside your workflow management software to track client meetings. ClickUp, you can also, I've done another video on this, add your QMS, your standard operating procedures, your resource hub, that kind of thing in as well. So you could consider running them side by side. Let me jump in and just show you what I'm doing with my client meetings. And I've been doing this for quite a while. It works really well, and I'm happy with how it sort of integrates into my workflow. Does seem like a lot, but I think once you get used to it, it's quite quick. So the first thing I do, this is just I have a space, which is client management. Then I've got a folder, which is a demo client. And then I have a meeting or a communications list. So you can set, if you're using ClickUp, you can set this up for, what you're doing at the moment. Just add it to your clients folder. And then each of these is a meeting that I've had. If you wanted to do this with the free plan, you might be able to get away with it, but you wouldn't be able to use custom fields. If you go up a level and pay for the unlimited plan, which is the first paid plan, that's the one that I'm on, you can add in custom fields. And then if you go up another level and just pay for AI, which I use across my business in ClickUp, it does help you a lot with the meeting notes. It does give you some added benefits. So let me show you how this works for me. To start with, I think looking at this screen, you can come over here to the search pod and you can search anything that you might have discussed in a meeting. So if I type in here super, it's going to bring up any meetings that I had that were around superannuation. If I type in pay rates, it's going to do the same thing. So that's just a really handy way of being able to find what it was that you need to discuss in that you've discussed in a meeting. The first thing that I do is add a meeting. So I have it set up where I just add the name of the client or the name of the person that I'm meeting with, and then the date. You see date, there you go. And I also add the date over here. So by adding the date here, it just means that this list all stays in date order, and it's easy to go, well, this was the last meeting that we had. Now I use a custom field because I have an automation set up to add a template. I won't do that now. I'll show you what the template looks like and how to add it manually. But if in the future you want to add an automation, this is the way that I would do it. I would have this custom field. So I'm going to click in, and this is just a blank task. There's nothing in here. I would generally start from this point. If a client calls me, I will just jump in and quickly start a meeting. And as we're talking, if there's anything that's dates or numbers, I will just jot it down here. So I'd say meeting with accountant on the 17th of September. 2025. Hopefully I know what that means. Paid extra 10K to super prior to end of financial year, advice given by accountant. So I would probably just write those things in, and it would probably go like that with the spelling errors and everything because I'm doing it on the fly. Now once I finish that phone meeting or Zoom, I will record an audio note for myself. I just find that that's quick to do, and I can do it as soon as I finish, and although this seems like a lot, you just get into an easy flow with it and it becomes automatic. So I would jump in here and go. I had a phone meeting with John today. We discussed the fact that he's paid extra super prior to the end of the financial year. That was $10,000 and his accountant told him to do that. And he has an end of financial year meeting with his accountant on the 17th of September. He wants his June BAS done by then. He's also talked about taking on a staff member. This will be his first staff member, and we discussed all of the implications that has. So he will need to have work cover, and we will need to have a way of onboarding new staff members. So we discussed what that would look like. So I just clicked that as done, and you can see that was 45 seconds or something like that, 48 seconds, not very long, but it sort of captured everything that we discussed. And I find that doing it straight away is just really the best way to do it. If I come back to do it later, it's actually more stressful because I'm trying to recall. So I just do it straight away. Now, this will then pull out a transcript, which is great. And I can use this AI button. So this is where you know, this is a paid feature. So I can get a summary. And I just copy that and put it down here. Now you might not want to go through all this. You might be happy to just come over to the description and just, you know, write down what it is that the meeting's about. For me, this just works really well. And I actually use this. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, whether it's HR Central, whether it's the accountant, anyone. I just find that doing a quick voice clip at the end just makes it so much better for me. Now, I did mention that I've got templates that I overlay. So to do this manually, I just come up to these three dots. I go down to templates and I choose this one, client meeting, and that will just add this nice template over here. I sometimes fill this information in. I don't always. It just depends on whether it's, you know, if it's a substantial meeting, I do go through and fill everything in. If it's not, I just fill in the basics, or I might not fill in any of it. But I will always come up to the top here and just do a summary. So I go AI and I say, give me a summary, my meeting with John today, list out any tasks I need to complete. And I will just go through and sort that out. What is BAS? That's all right. Let me just fix that. And it's put it in as a tick box. So if I'm going to go and do this right now, I'm not going to do the BAS right now, but if I am, I just tick these off when I've done them. If not, I will highlight that and I can make it a task and create a whole new task. Or I can create a subtask, so it'll drop it down to the bottom here and add it as a subtask. I find that's really, really helpful, and I like the way that it's sort of in this blue box, so that when I'm looking through all of my meetings, if I'm clicking into them, there's a summary right at the top there. Now, the last thing that I do is just grab this if I can. Let me see. It's not going to let me. There we go. I go copy, and I have email connected up in ClickUp. And what I do is just grab this email template and I go to the brief summary of our meeting one. It adds in just, this is a brief summary of our meeting. So I'll put, hi John. I'll put in, this is the discussion points, and these are the action items. Let me just, having much luck with the copy and paste here. and I can send that straight off to my client. The email address will generally come in automatically. If this wasn't a demo company, the email address would come in, and I've just sort of confirmed with the client, these were our discussion points. These are the things that I'm going to complete for him, and I can send them off. So it's a great way to sort of round out that meeting. Again, if it's a really quick meeting, I wouldn't do this, but if we're discussing anything of substance, I will generally send just a brief summary. And because there's not much more to it than this, just a brief summary of our meeting today, the client knows they don't need to respond to it or anything. I'm just confirming this is what we discussed. Now, if I go up here, I've got one for an ATO call. So this is a template again that just overlays, and when I'm going to make a call to the tax office, I add this. It gives me the phone number, it's got my BAS agent number, and it's got my FastKey codes, the all-important reference number, which has saved me many times because the first thing I do is ask for a reference number, and then I can put in these details. So this was one I was going to call the tax office to get BPay details for an superannuation guarantee charge statement, and so I would sort of fill in what I can, and at the end of it I will, probably not for this one because it's just asking for BPay details, but I will again get AI to do a summary, and then I'll add it up here. Who else have we got? HR Central, same sort of thing. Here you can see this is one that I've done. I've got the meeting summary. This is the call details. I spoke to them. As I was talking to them, I was actually writing it out. And I will sometimes, when I hop off the call from HR Central, just record a voice clip as well. A lot of the time when I'm talking to them, I'm actually writing the information down, and they understand that, like we're having a discussion and I'll be sort of typing away. So I don't necessarily need to have that voice clip, but if I feel like I need to fill it out, then I will record a voice clip as well. And then a meeting with an accountant if we have a discussion. Let me show you what this one looks like. Accountant meeting. I would come in here, and I can, like I was saying, I can do this, go to the templates and just do a search for accountant meeting. But I'll show you, if you do want to set up automations, if I change this to accountant meeting, by adding this custom field, this actually triggers a template to be set up. And if I click in here, you can see here's the template that's been set up. So when I'm talking to the accountant, I sort of can run through, just make sure that I cover off any information that I need to. I will generally then, of course, record a voice clip and then put a summary up the top here using AI. So I hope that's been helpful for you. I hope that's given you some ideas. Like I said to you at the start, there you could potentially do this using a free plan. If you have a paid plan, or if you think it's worthwhile having a paid plan, just that next level up gives you the option to add these custom fields, and that's where if you wanted to add automations, you could. I don't think that you need to, because you can easily just manually add that template, but you can add it there. And of course, the next level up again is if you wanted to add AI. So I'll also show you, if you wanted to add AI, if you are paying for AI or you wanted to add it, you can do an AI summary, which I have on all of mine. And that will let me just generate those for you. It gives you a little summary at this level, at this list level, so that you can see what it was that your discussion was about. So let me just drag that across a bit. So when you're looking over your meetings, you can easily just click in and see, oh, that's what we discussed then. This one, hang on, this one we discussed, no. Some of these don't have any content in them. This one we had a discussion. I think that one was, yep, you can see. So this is really handy to be able to just click through without going into each meeting note looking for what it is that you're looking for. Again, you don't really need this. If you're paying for AI, anyway, I would add it on, but this search box really does everything that you need, because if you're looking for something, you can search for it up here. I hope this has been helpful for you. If it is, please leave a comment below. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below. I'll try and respond to them. I'm not the only one that's doing this. Joanne also keeps all of her communication inside ClickUp, so she can probably answer some of your questions as well. But just, leave some notes down below for us, and I hope this has been really helpful.